Sandy Says Read. Welcome to the channel. Today we're going to do a quick review and discussion of Splintered. Huge glare. Splintered, there we go. Nice, right? And I want you to be able to see this book because look at how gorgeous this cover is. We're going to talk a lot about how beautiful this book is. All right, this is Splintered by A.G. Howard. It was released in 2013. I believe it was published in 2013. And then this edition was done in 2014. I'm going to double check that real quick here. If I can get to that page. Yes, okay. I'm also going to read for you the summary that's in here on the publisher's page. It says, summary, a descendant of the inspiration for Alice's Adventures in Wonderland. 16-year-old Alyssa Gardner fears she is mentally ill like her mother until she finds that Wonderland is real. And if she passes a series of tests to fix Alice's mistakes, she may save her family from their curse. Now let me read you the back cover too. Alyssa Gardner, and that's our 16-year-old main character, Alyssa Gardner hears the thoughts of plants and insects. She hides her delusions for now, but she knows her fate. She will end up like her mother in an institution. Madness has run in her family ever since her great-great-great-grandmother, Alice Lytle, told Lewis Carroll her strange dreams, inspiring his classic Alice's Adventures in Wonderland. But perhaps she's not mad. And perhaps Carol's stories aren't as whimsical as they first seem. Our character, Alyssa, is, she's a teenager and she's able to hear insects talking to her, flies that buzz around, say things to her, plants, flowers, trees talk to her, say things to her, and she thinks she's going insane. She thinks that she might end up in a mental institution like her mother is. So she's got that side to her. She's a little bit goth, She dresses a little bit goth. She's a skater dude. She goes to the skate park and she does her skating tricks and stuff. And when she falls down, her next door neighbor Jeb picks her up and helps her and takes care of her and helps her out with stuff. But it turns out he helps her out with a lot of stuff. He's a good guy next door. He's the boy next door that she actually has a crush on, and she doesn't want to admit that she has a crush on, right? So the first part of this story is there's like a supernatural, paranormal element to it, but it's quite just a romantic, young adult, contemporary, modern day story with a paranormal twist, right? You see this paranormal twist to it. And then we start to see these elements of Alice in Wonderland come into it. We see her mother. We see Alyssa's mother in the mental institution. We go to visit her. We see these elements of, okay, we thought that the mother, went to Wonderland at some point. We thought that the mother followed in the great-great-great-grandmother's footsteps and went to Wonderland and visited Wonderland and tried to solve the curse herself. Okay, we see these elements, we see these ideas, we think, well, maybe those things didn't happen and it's just a dream, or it's the mother's delusions, or maybe those things did happen and Alyssa might need to go to Wonderland too. And she does. Yeah. And so like the next part of the book, the rest of the book is a completely different book. It's a completely different setting. We're in Wonderland and everything there is the fantasy, the magic, the not realism, right? And Alyssa pulls Jeb into that with her. So Jeb is there and he's trying to help her and he's like, this is crazy. And it's like two different stories that happen. Two totally different stories that happen. We've got the one where it's the real world and we have a love triangle in the real world. We have Jeb, his girlfriend, Janara. I think her name is Janara. Anyway, yeah, she's bully. She's not very nice. We have Jeb, Janara, and then Alyssa. That's our love triangle in the real world right here. And then Alyssa pulls Jeb into Wonderland with her, and in that world, the love triangle is Jeb and Alyssa and Morpheus. And Morpheus is not really a good guy. I mean, we see this push and pull between, is he good, is he not good? I think he's not good. I think he might be Team Edward, not good, right? And we just have this adventure taking place in most of the book in Wonderland that is like an acid trip, which is supposed to be, right? It's Alice in Wonderland, basically. It's a retelling of Alice in Wonderland with Alyssa and this guy she pulled in with her and this Morpheus character who would like her to stay and help him defeat the Red Queen, right? It's supposed to be an acid trip, and it is. It's a weird book. It's written for a young adult audience, obviously, so it's not quite geared toward me. It was written over a decade ago, so it's not a current day telling of Alice in Wonderland. I don't know how exactly to describe this book or what I think of it. I don't know how. It's so descriptive. Some of the descriptions are elaborate and eloquent and deep. So you're reading this in-depth acid trip, which might not be awesome for a young adult. I don't know. Okay, what else do I want to tell you about this before I get into? I think I gave you everything. Okay, this particular book, I didn't give you the specs, did I? Splintered by A.G. Howard, originally published in 2013. This particular version that we're going to talk about is 371 pages. First person present tense. That was a trip as well. All kinds of acid trips with this book. But what I want to talk about a lot is how pretty this book is. Okay, I purchased this book years ago. Okay, it was published in 2013. This edition came out in 2014, okay? So I purchased this thing a while ago. It's been on the TBR tree. I have TBR trees in this room. It's been over there for years. It's been over there for a long time before I finally got around to reading it. It's pretty on that tree over there. It looks pretty on that shelf because it's just so lovely. And the spine of it is pretty. And let's do this without the glare so you can see the spine of it is pretty, right? The book itself is pretty. It opens like this and it's pretty. Okay, look at that. The inside, the title page is pretty font. Look at this. Okay, there is just a loveliness, and look at the purple as well. So of course I'm intrigued by that. It's a lovely book. It is well designed. The acknowledgement page is lovely. Okay, you know, we've got that playing cards motif going on in there too, right? I mean, it's just very well done, very well put together. I wanted to show you one of the chapter headings. I should have put a bookmark there, right? But okay, see the chapter headings? See that? Isn't that lovely? It's just beautiful. Everything about this is just lovely, beautiful, well put together and done. And did I write down the person's name? Please tell me I did. I did not. I can't believe you guys. Well, then we're going to look on the publisher's page to see who it is that did that. The illustrator deserves. Book design by Maria T. Middleton. The title page illustration, Nathalia Sulin. But the book design is by Maria T. Middleton. And she deserves just a ton of kudos because this is just beautiful. It's just absolutely lovely. I mean, just the way it's, look at that. Isn't that just gorgeous? All throughout this book, it was a pleasure to read because of how pretty it was. And the descriptions and details given for everything that you were seeing in Wonderland was a pleasure because it was so pretty. It was so prettily described in depth. It took time to read this, okay? I didn't start reading this a couple weeks ago. I started reading this earlier this year. Okay, what is this now? Are we in October? We're in October now. Yeah. It's taken me all year to read this because it's descriptive. And I'm going to say something kind of negative, I guess. I don't really care about the story. I don't care about the characters. I don't care what happens to them. I have a pretty good idea what's going to happen to them. It's a young adult novel. They're going to live. And they do. So, there was no surprise there. And it's Alice in Wonderland. You kind of know these things that are happening. So there was no surprise. It's a lot of adventure. Okay. So I was never in a hurry to pick it back up, but each time I did, it was pretty. Does that make sense? It's a pretty book with pretty things and pretty descriptions and pretty stuff. And I'm going to read for you, as we do in these reviews, something that's an adventure piece in here. I hope that it gives you a taste of the writer's writing. I hope it gives you a taste of what's going on. This is a scene where Jeb and Alyssa are on this waterway, and the flowers have asked them to drain the waterway. Because the flowers talk, as they should. All right. Here we go. Within seconds, the clam starts to shake along with the boat. Now, Jeb dives overboard with my hand in his. A slap of tentacles grazes my legs, but then the warm water folds over us, and we sink. Jeb dog paddles in front of me, his hair twirling like seagrass in the blue depths. He tugs on my wrist. I kick upward, my boots and clothes heavy and awkward in the water. We surface and suck in deep breaths, swimming in place long enough to see what's happening in the boat. The clam stretches from the size of a makeup compact to that of a dumpster. In a strangely graceful display of blubber, fins, and tentacles, I'm going to say this wrong, okay, guys? Octogonus? The octogonus realizes his misstep and tries to slide overboard. Too late. The giant shell opens, and a hatchet-shaped appendage springs out, as big and powerful as an anaconda. The muscle wraps around the octogonus and draws him into its mouth, slurping up tentacles like a giant spaghetti noodles before slamming shut. The boat buckles and cracks. In moments, the clam sinks into the ocean, leaving only foam and floating debris behind. Waves ripple around the wreckage, an eerily serene ending to such a violent scene. Jeb holds my wrist and the backpack with one hand, while using his other arm in a one-sided breaststroke to propel us toward the black beach. Something pulls me downward. I pump my legs until my calves cramp, trying to stay afloat. It's no use. I let go of Jeb, afraid to pull him down with me. Swept under water, I search for what's anchoring me, terrified a sea creature is to blame. Yet there's nothing there. The weight seems to be centered at my waist, but I'm descending too fast to find it. I flail, arms and legs straining against the downward momentum. My lungs shriek for oxygen. Jeb appears above me. The backpack descends behind him into the dark depths. I snap my legs and hands into action, clawing at the water. Jeb tries to pull me up by gripping under my arms. I jerk away, fighting him. Or maybe I'm fighting myself, fighting my fear. His expression is resolute as he grabs me. He refuses to give up, and that scares me more than anything. I shake my head. Save yourself, my eyes tell him, but he's too stubborn to listen. I want to tell him I'm sorry I dragged him into this. Instead, empty bubbles swirl between us. It goes on. Basically, the sponge that she's got is soaking up all the water. It's soaking up the entire ocean into like a basketball size. There at the bottom. So they drain the ocean. Yeah. Okay, so there's the adventure happening. It's a beautiful, beautiful book. Nice, beautiful book. Just, there it is. Okay, that's it. Thumbs up for beautiful, gorgeous, gorgeous books that sit on our shelves for years because they're so pretty there. Okay, you guys, subscribe to the channel and hit the bell notification icon so you're notified when I do random crazy things